Well, the New England Patriots lost a tough one on the road to Seattle last week. They come home this week to face their AFC East division rival New York Jets. BETDAQ has New England installed as a 10.5-point favorite in this game, 47 the total. Jets have the same record as New England. These teams both 3-3. You wouldn't know it based on the media because all you hear about the New York Jets seems to be negative. Oh, circling the drain, their season's over. When's Rex Ryan going to be fired? When is a quarterback change going to be made? They have no playmakers on offense. They've lost their best defensive player for the year, and on and on and on. The Jets have certainly been in the news a lot this year, and not much of it has been positive. New England, meanwhile, even though they've lost a couple of surprising games, I'm not just talking about this game last week, Seattle. What about the home loss they suffered a few weeks ago to Arizona? 13.5-point favorites and losing. So New England they haven't been quite the team that I think people thought they were going to be. Seems like just when you're ready to say, okay, New England, we know what they are, same old Patriots, the Brady-Belichick Patriots with that great offense, just when you're ready to sort of give your stamp of approval to the New England Patriots, they surprise you and put forth a performance that's not quite as good as you'd expect. That's why I'd be a little bit uncomfortable giving this many points here this week. Again, 10.5 to the Jets. I know people are writing off the Jets. I know all the talk about the Jets has been negative, but let me remind you that with the exception of that one game against San Francisco a couple of weeks ago when they were just embarrassed, beaten 34-0 at home, aside from that game, the Jets on defense have been pretty much like we expect the Rex Ryan Jets to be on defense. Very good in the front seven, a tough team to run the ball against, and New England has run the ball more this year. Now, not last week. Apparently, in game planning for that game against Seahawks, New England must have felt like they could not run the ball because they totally abandoned the run last week, despite being fourth in the NFL in rushing the football heading into that game. We'll see if New England goes back and tries to run it a little more with Stephen Ridley in this game. The Jets are good against the run, as I said, even though the Niners had a lot of success running the ball right down their throats a couple of weeks ago. So I do expect this New England offense to look a little bit more like they looked last week against Seattle. I think Tom Brady's going to throw it 45 or 50 times here. Still, though, 10.5 points. New England has a bad defense. And the Jets picked up some momentum on offense last week, no question about it. I mean, hey, I know the Jets have been terrible on offense this year, but they got a couple of playmakers back last week. Stephen Hill, the rookie wide receiver. Hey, believe me, as I'm saying this, I realized when you're pointing to getting a rookie wide receiver back as, hey, what a good thing for this offense, that probably says a whole lot about your offense. But still, Stephen Hill's back. Dustin Keller, probably Mark Sanchez's favorite target, tight end Dustin Keller, he's back. So the Jets getting healthier on offense. They really ran the ball well last week against the Indianapolis Colts. We know this New England defense, even though they're not quite as soft as the Colts against the run, this New England defense is by no means a fearsome defense. So are the Jets going to be able to keep this one close? I'm sure Rex Ryan wants this one badly. He's made no secret that New England has been his target ever since he took over as coach of the New York Jets. New England has ruled the division for over a decade, and Ryan knows that for the Jets to really be respected, for them really to arrive in the NFL, and I'm aware they made back-to-back AFC championship games, but they need to topple New England in their division. I mean, they've been second fiddle in their division ever since Ryan has come there, and I'm sure Ryan's sick of it. I'm sure the Jets players are sick of it. Now, are they good enough to do anything about it? Probably not this Sunday. I mean, I do think New England's going to win this game. I would feel uncomfortable given the 10.5 points here, even though I'm well aware of New England's history following a loss under Bill Belichick. I mean, this team responds great after a loss. Their last 39 games following a loss, New England is 28-10-1 against the number. Meanwhile, the Jets have not been a good team to back on the road, only 3-8 against the number on the road their last 11 games. Now, the Jets, a lot of the story here these last couple of weeks has been revolved around their quarterback position. When will Tim Tebow replace Mark Sanchez? I thought Sanchez played pretty well a couple of weeks ago in a loss to the Houston Texans, and he didn't play poorly last week. Now, he only threw for 82 yards. It appeared to me as though Tony Sparano intentionally changed that game plan last week. Coming into this season, all you heard from the Jets were, we want to be a power running team, we want to run the ball, but the results, what we saw over the first few weeks, didn't really match all those words that we were hearing. True, the Jets, they were balanced on offense. They attempted to run the ball as much as they threw it, but we weren't really seeing that commitment to the power running game. Last week, we really saw that. Now, maybe a lot of that has to do with the matchup. Indianapolis really struggled stopping the run, but Mark Sanchez was not allowed to throw the ball very much last week, and when he did throw it, he did not throw the ball downfield hardly at all. It was dink and dunk and dink and dunk for Sanchez and that Jets offense. As a result, Sanchez completed over 50% of his passes for the first time in 5 games. Did not turn the ball over, which is huge, obviously, for this Jets offense. So we're going to see Sanchez go at quarterback again this week. We might see Tim Tebow more, though, just not in the position a lot of us expected to see him at. The Jets have some serious running back injury issues at running back right now. Both their backups, Bilal Powell and Joe McKnight, expected to miss this game with injuries. So behind Sean Green right now, they have nothing in the way of running back. So we just heard today, Tim Tebow is expected to get some looks at running back in this game. Will it just be straight running back? Will Sanchez just be handing the ball off to Tebow like you would a normal running back? Will the Jets show any creativity? I mean, if you're going to place Tim Tebow at running back, why not take advantage of the opportunities that presents you? Why not let him throw the ball? Why not pitch it back to him with some run-pass options? Really been disappointed this year with the lack of creativity the Jets have shown when using Tim Tebow. When they've brought him in the game in the so-called Wildcat formation, really all they've done is let him run the ball. I think out of that formation, he's only thrown 2 passes this year. Threw a pass last week out of a fake punt formation. But if you're going to use Tim Tebow in that formation, what Tim Tebow gives you that Ronnie Brown or other running backs who are using that formation don't give you is the ability to pass the ball. Whatever you think of Tim Tebow's passing ability, he's certainly an excellent passer compared to NFL running backs. I mean, the guy threw for over 300 yards last year against the number 1 defense in the league in the playoffs. So this guy can pass the ball, can complete some passes, but if you're not going to let him throw the ball as in that Wildcat formation, why not just let Sean Green take the snap? So we'll see if they expand that any this week. We'll see if they show some creativity. Still waiting for that out of Sprono in this offense, and they're going to need some of that because Tom Brady and that New England offense, they are going to score, okay? If you've watched New England play this year, you know that Tom Brady's still at the peak of his powers. That New England offense still looks just like the unit we've seen over the last couple of years. The Jets are without Darrelle Revis. I know the Jets still have a solid defense without Revis, but they can't be expected to shut down this New England offense. I expect to see New England score at least 28 to 30 points in this game. So if the Jets are going to stay with him, they're going to have to create some offense on their own. I'm sure they're going to try to run the ball like they did last week with Sean Green. Hey, eating up the clock, keeping Brady off the field, that sounds like a great idea, but it's going to take a little more than that. I don't think they're going to be able to just dominate this game like they did last week against the Indianapolis Colts and just run the ball right down the Patriots' throat. I think using Tim Tebow, getting some creativity in there, letting Tebow pass the ball a little bit, keeping that New England defense off balance, I think that's going to be absolutely necessary if the Jets want to compete in this game. Now, one bet that might be worth taking a look at here, I'm staying away from this game in terms of the handicap. I expect New England to win the game, but like I said, 10.5 points makes me a little uncomfortable. That's a lot of points for a New England team to be given, especially considering New England, like I said, has been disappointing at times this year. This team has not been an extremely reliable team so far this season. But I bet you might want to consider, at least based on the trends, if you put any stock on trends and patterns, things of that nature, the over in this game. 47 is the total on BETDAQ, as I said. Now, in the Jets' last 26 road games, the over is 19-7. In New England's last 23 home games, the over is 16-7. And in the last 6 games between these two teams, the over is 5-0-1. So a lot of trends pointing towards the under in this game. Again, I'm not sure if you put any stock in that at all. Some people do, some people don't. But I definitely think there will be a lot of points scored in this game. And I do lean towards over 47 if I were to make a bet on this game. I don't think I am going to make a bet on this game, though. Totals in general are just very unpredictable. You never know what could mess them up. Red zone turnovers could mess up an over bet, or defensive touchdowns, special teams touchdowns, things you can't predict could mess up an under bet. So unless I see a total that I feel very strongly about, generally I stay away from the totals. And as I said, in this game, the points make me a little uncomfortable. Maybe a teaser might be an opportunity here. Tease this game down 6, New England minus 4.5. Tease the under down 6, New England minus 4.5, over 41 points. That sounds like a little bit better to me than New England minus 10.5 and over 47. But I'll tell you what, it will be very interesting to see. This game is the Sky TV game. This game is on TV throughout most of the United States because there aren't many 4 o'clock games this week. I think maybe the only other 4 o'clock game this week might be Oakland-Jacksonville, which is a terrible game. I must be wrong about that. There must be at least one other 4 o'clock game. But when I checked the schedule, that's the only other 4 o'clock game I saw. So I will be watching this game. I imagine most of you will be watching this game. I do expect a New England win, but you never know. This one could be closer than people think.